So last night, I was watching this video where it showed that the president was giving clemency to the largest turkey. The largest two turkeys, but only one of them was present, right? And I was thinking about that because, I'm not eating turkey, right? Even the turkey meat that I had bought like a week ago, that's gone. I ate it up, right? I can't even have turkey sandwich at this point. So we're not going to be eating any turkey, period, right? We're either going to be eating steak or, we're going to be eating steak. We're going to be eating steak. I had a craving for red meat, and so we're going to be eating steak. And since I had, cooked the fried rice last night, I'm going to be having steak and fried rice. Not the traditional cult of men, holiday meal. No, it's not. Right? But it is special for me because, I rarely get a chance to eat red meat. Okay? Like I said, very rare is it, have I been able to find, steak meat, beef roast, right, for under $8, right? Like I said, I had bought the carnita, right? And I was thinking that the carnita was going to be like small pieces of cut up beef, right? It wasn't. It was pork. I don't know if that was an error on my half or their half, but that's what I got. And I kept it. Okay? But the carnita pork was $7.58 a pound. Right? And I was like, oh my gosh, I bought some pork for just under $8 a pound. So when I seen that they had offered some prime beef cuts, okay, for under $8 a pound, I just knew I had to have it. I had to. And I got it. Right? Now, if I cut into the prime rib, then I'll have to like chop it all up into how I want it to be, put into freezer bags and save for later. Okay? If I eat the shaved steak meat, I won't have to do that, right? And I can eat that for breakfast or brunch, right? I can eat the steak for brunch, and then also, eat it for dinner, along with the fried rice. But definitely for dinner, I'm gonna have the fried rice. Because I cooked me a big old container of fried rice. And the sad part about it is it's not quite the fried rice that I was looking for, right? Because I still don't have the soy sauce. I believe those little packets that I have I believe those were oyster sauces. Yeah, oyster sauces. That's why it was thick and salty. Okay? And I never used to, use oyster sauce, period, because I could just use soy sauce. Right? But, needless to say, it was very good, because I had some last night. And like I said, I made a lot of it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to eat it. Eat what I can today. And if I just cannot eat that much today, whatever I don't eat today, I'm just going to have to freeze. Right? I'm going to have to freeze it. Take my chances. That when I go to eat it later, that it'll be okay. Because the reason why I'm saying all of that is, fried rice, it's supposed to be fried, right? And the only way that you can make it fried is to have like older rice, which that wasn't a problem. I did, let my rice get like a day old rice, and then let it, fry hot, right? That's what the wok will do. The wok will, have all of the food, cook on all sides of the pan, which I think I threw my wok away. I had an electrical wok. I also had a regular wok, and I believe I threw them both away because, if you don't take care of them properly, they can rust, right? I have a bad habit. Well, I used to have a really bad habit. I didn't mind washing dishes, but what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't dry the dishes. Okay? That's what I wouldn't do. And it didn't seem like that was that big of a deal until recently, right? Because now when I don't dry the dishes, the water stains are horrible. I mean, the water stains are so bad, it makes it look like it's just dirty. Right? And you just gotta wash it again. So now when I wash the dishes, I go ahead and I dry them at the same time. Look at them big ass birds. Those birds are storks. That's what they are. They're big white storks. I wonder if you can eat those. Right? I wonder what they taste like. Because there's a lot of them just sitting around there. I'm telling you, let me take a picture of them. They're just sitting around there. Hold on. Can you see all of them storks out there? Can you? Damn it. Can you see all them storks out there? them birds are big. Like I said, they're 20, 25, maybe 30-pound birds. And I keep wondering, what do they taste like? Can you eat them? That's why I need to eat me some beef. Feeling very carnivore-ish. That's what I wish I could do. Just kind of coast on my bike and have my dog, trotting alongside of me. Won't be Snoopy though. Snoopy's too old. Baby Gracie. The dogs have settled down a lot. They have settled down so much. Sometimes I don't even know they're next door in the room next door. I don't even know. I'm like looking for them, like, wow, because I'm telling you, them dogs was rambunctious. They was loud. They was constantly fighting. They was knocking over stuff. And then when they wasn't fighting, they started chewing on the furniture, on my shoes. Or, you remember me saying, Lord, please, I'm going to get these dogs some chews because they eat chewing up my shoes. I guess I could kind of live with them chewing up, the furniture and the curtains and, whatever else they got their hands on, right? I could kind of, right? But not necessarily because, I have like paint cans, paint brushes, just, some stuff that's just toxic, And no, you just cannot. You cannot, like, she'll go after the Windex bottles. It's just crazy. Crazy having a baby puppy. Just crazy. So, I think the Prius was the first electrical car, wasn't it? Toyota? The first electrical car, yeah. And who was that? John Travolta was supposed to be a gangster, but he was riding around in a Prius. And what was that movie called? Anyway, yeah. So that's why it's just really weird, when the boomers will see, they're like, why do you guys make it seem like Elon invented the electrical car? And everybody's like, but he invented Tesla. But there was an electrical car before Tesla. So why would you why would you even wrap your mouth to say, well, he invented the electrical car? Right? At best, you can say Elon made the electrical car popular. At best, you could say that Elon made the electrical car so popular that he had got government money to invest on manufacturing those cars. He didn't do that with his own money. He did not. And even if Tesla, the company, happens to make a comeback, say the Tesla happens to make a comeback, right? Maybe the Tesla could make, an electrical van. Vans are not new to the world, right? We used to have some, I don't know why I was going to say some pimped out vans, right? We used to have some pimped out vans. Not just the Volkswagens, but we used to have some pimped out vans, when I was growing up, right? They had beds, they had sinks, they had everything that these other vans, that are being sensationalized, right, as a new build, right, expensive as hell, right? There's no reason for these vans to be as expensive as they are, unless, you're buying a specific brand, right, like a Mercedes van, yes, right? But they used to have those vans a long time ago. So what I'm saying is, we keep doing a recycle of the same old shit, acting like it's new, just because we tweak it, right? Just because, instead of the straight leg, we now are wearing a bell bottom. Instead of the bell bottom, we're now wearing the wide leg, right? We used to call them, bell bottoms, but, new age is like, we call them boot cut, right? And we're like, oh, okay, Then they call these, wide leg. I think we used to call them elephant leg pants, right? And they'd just be really wide. Back then, they didn't like the idea of doing, a skinny jean, right? They didn't like that idea of doing a skinny jean because it was too revealing. Okay, it was just too revealing. So they didn't really do a skinny jean. And they definitely, didn't do a sagging. The only sagging that happened was done. It was done. Not that it didn't exist, because it was done. And the only time that we really seen sagging was probably a handyman in the house that, was working underneath the sink, and we just happened to see his butt crack. It wasn't fashionable. It wasn't the fashion statement. Okay? It was not. Anyway, it's so weird to see now, not one, not two, but you could ride around and at some point you're going to see somebody sagging. At some point. like you can't get out of the house and go anywhere without seeing at least one person sagging on purpose. And I'm gonna be honest, at first I was like, well, they're trying to make this one size fit all, and one size doesn't fit all, because back in my day, they used to leave the hems open on the pants, right? They used to leave the bottom of the legs open, and they used to give you like 4 to 6 inches in which you can hem your own hem to the length of your legs, because that's the one thing that is different from person to person, and that's the length of their legs, right? If you have a short torso, and you have a lot of legs, yeah, you're gonna want to have a longer length in legs on your pants. Anyway, those are the things that kind of went away when this new society, this new age, right, came into play and tried to create a cookie cutter society, right? And in the process of creating the cookie cutter society, they also wanted to be able to predict society. Okay? And if they could predict society, then, they could kind of herd society like chattel into purchases or into living situations, into political rebellion. Yeah, might as well keep it real. Right? So my mind is wondering, what are they trying to herd us into, right? And a lot of people will have these words like, well, they want us to become fascist or accept dictatorship or communist or socialist or and it's just like, America is supposed to be a country that's supposed to be free. Okay? It's supposed to be a country, and probably the only country on the planet that's free. Other countries, they can try to be free, or they can try to be whatever it is they can try to be. But America was supposed to be free. It was supposed to be free for women, supposed to be free for men. It was also supposed to be free for children. Right? I know you people are like, nah, children don't have no rights. Children had the right. Children had the right to be safe. Children had the right to have food. And children had the right to be provided for and not used for child labor. So the children did have a right. And also, you could not marry these children off in exchange for money. You could not sexploit these children. And yet, it's happening right under our noses. We smell the stench, we hear the confessions, and we see the damaged adults who were abused as children, and yet we cannot combat that, but then we want to say we're so great. We're so great. And it's like, why are we great? And they said because, industry, right? And we're looking at industry and they're like, yeah, there's nothing really great about industry when we have homelessness. Right? And then they'll say agriculture, and we're like, well, there's nothing great about agriculture when, we still have people starving in the world. Right? And this is where, you get this pushback. Well, we're never going to be perfect. Never. And it's just like, well, if we're never going to be perfect, then shut your fucking mouth about how great you are and how much you should get paid. And they won't do that. They're really like, no, I what I mean is, they'll start double talking. About why they should get paid. So I love it when I can ride around, and it's so calm, Quite a few stores are closed. I guess Kroger's is open. I think Kroger's is going to be open half a day today. Right? Oh yeah, getting back to what I was saying. Now the Joker was talking about how people are going to be sitting up here talking about how grateful they are today and then tomorrow, Black Friday sales, right? How the devil comes out of them during Black Friday so they can get these sales. And even then, right, they done gave their offerings and stuff. That devil is still there, not happy with the offerings that was given to him. Why? Because they're in debt.